Well, you join me on a very overcast morning, lovely conditions, pretty dull and rather enticing, and the river behind me looks no less sumptuous. Absolutely glorious water level, nice hint of colour. Decided to come out today, gonna fish a few swims, move about with the low resistance link leisure setup that you've seen on numerous of my videos, so I'm not going to harp on about that. Those of you who are interested in that particular rig that I use can check back on my older videos. As I say, I don't want to waste your time and bore you, but yeah, back out on the link leisure. Going to do some roving about today for chub and perch. Hopefully they won't be as absent as they were on the last video, the perch that is, and hopefully we get amongst some chub as well. Now with me I've got my usual mixture of grilled blue cheese, garlic and milk powder cheese paste. It's always a very reliable chevin bait. I've got Palatrax meat beast paste, which is garlic, spicy sausage, pork and crab with black pepper and essential oils that can be used as a bait wrap or as a hook bait on its own, just a normal paste hook bait. And of course I've got ever reliable bread, so quite a few slices of bread to fish bread flake. Got maggots, and of course for the perch and also the chub, as they like a nice lobworm. I've got some real fat, juicy, well-fed lobworms. So that's the sum of it. As you can see, this particular waterway looks absolutely spot on. Hopefully we will get amongst some chub, and as I said, because they were absent on the last trip, some perch as well. That would be nice. Can't knock the conditions. For the time of year, it's absolutely crazy mild. It's forecast to be around about 12 degrees today, 11 to 12 degrees. Absolutely crazy. You wouldn't think it was, you know, coming up to the end of the season in a few weeks' time. But yeah, and you wouldn't think that we were still in winter time either. It's yeah, certainly an odd, you know, temperatures to be having. I think last high that we had that was a record for this time of year, can't remember the exact date, but I know that it was around about 19 degrees that we hit, and that was a good few years back. So, you know, is it a normal cycle for a planet to heat up and cool down, or cool down and heat up, or is it global warming? You know, it certainly does seem that the season's been a lot less like winter. You know, I wouldn't call it a proper winter, at least for the south of England anyway. Well, I think for most of England, I don't think we've seen what I'd call a proper winter. Not compared to last year, which was a bit more of a normal seasonal conditions. And I do prefer the weather to stay seasonal, but I'm not going to knock some mild conditions, that's for sure. Anyway, let's not drone on, and yeah, let's get fishing, fish a few swims. I've also got liquidized bread with me. You've seen that before. It's got some krill in it, got some garlic as well. I've had a few of you ask me where I get my krill powder from. I normally get it from Willie's Worms. They sell it in small packets. You can, or you used to be able to get it from Hinders. I'm not sure if they still sell it, but as I say, I do use Willie's Worms for my krill powder, and if I'm not mistaken, CC Moore also sell krill powder. So yeah, that's for any of you guys that have been asking where I get it from. But as I say, I've got liquidized bread mixed with krill powder, a little bit of crushed garlic in there, real nice scent trail, good attractant, but not overfeeding the fish. There's a few older maggots and casters mixed in. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's get a lobworm in a few likely swims, put some maggots in, see if we can pick up a nice perch or two, and a few chub. Well, nothing so far. I'm going to probably head over the other side and fish along this section and the back stream a little bit, and then come back round here. Might have another go in this swim and then head downstream. One thing I don't want to be doing if I'm trying to search the fish out and be proactive, don't want to hang too long in swims, but maybe come back to them a bit later on if I did fancy them in the first place but they didn't produce. Well, very slow going so far, very slow. A couple of little knocks back upstream on the main river. I'm on the backwater at the moment. Very, very slow. I kind of expect it might be a little bit, you know, slow going, but conditions are spot on. So what I'm going to do now, I think I'll get the gear and head on further downstream. Got some nice swims further along the river that I want to try and see if I can wink away perch or two out of, or some decent chub. But yeah, got my fingers crossed and hopefully we'll get amongst a fish or two, all being well. Well, that was a turn up for the bucks. Nice bite. And I thought I was into a rather well proportioned, or at least it felt a well proportioned perch, but it's a rather brassy chevin. But I tell you what, as you've probably seen, it's been tough going again. I can't seem to pick up a decent perch from various good swims for love nor money. There we go. So yeah, it's been very tricky going again on the perch front. But it's still nice to have this chub. Very nice. Well, very welcome, especially with the perch not playing ball again, and it overall being a tricky fishing trip. Lovely portly character, little dumpy fish, not quite £4, £3 14 ounces. But yeah, lovely podge, beautiful build, and a sterling scrap, and on a very fat, lively and juicy lobworm. But it's been tough today, it's been so tricky, really has. Got to find me some perch, guys, I really have. In the meantime, you know, mixing it up, going after perch and chub. I never tire of these wonderful character fish, and absolutely love these armour clad beauties. But yeah, really nice to have, as I say. And it's got a lovely build to it, nice enamelling. Anyway, let's get it slipped back, shall we? Wonderful.